Hello angels, Lavender here, and today we are talking a freshly reviewed album from hip-hop trio, experimental hip-hop pioneers Clipping, who have returned after a 5-year absence with a major shift in style. The last two times we heard from the band, they were indulging in a pair of horrorcore records, both of which I like quite a bit. I have always been a huge fan of Clipping, and so I was really excited for this record, especially on the back of some great singles like Change the Channel and Run Up. Now, stylistically and from an instrumental and production standpoint, this record is not nearly as loud, bombastic, and jagged as Clipping have been in the past. There is a much more synthetic cold to this, spacier beats. That doesn't mean there isn't metallic and industrial blur to be found throughout this record, but it is much subtler. Only occasionally is this record committed to blasting out your speakers, and what can I say about those instrumentals? They're great, even at their most nocturnal and sparse, or at their most pummeling, evolved, and intense. This record is instrumentally almost perfect throughout. Really solid. And that change in sound also serves to support the change in subject matter. This is a pretty conceptual record, and one that dabbles in cyberpunk, the aesthetic of cyberpunk, and occasionally, like on some of the singles I mentioned, and some really great deep cuts in the first half, it does that cyberpunk aesthetic justice, even when the record is at its dorkiest, most old-fashioned science fiction-y of cyberpunk, at least on the first half of the record. It still manages to come off very slick, very cool, very confident, and very well put together. However, there are moments on the record where, in my opinion, the dorkiness is unbearable. And for people who have had criticisms of Clipping's music in the past, I mean, come on, Daveed Diggs was in Hamilton. They're calling this thing theater rap. It's dorky, it's nerdy, it's belabored, overly wordy at times, and I've never thought those criticisms were very legitimate or very valid given all of the talent from all three members of Clipping. But at points like Mirror Shades, for example, on the second half of this new record, Dead Channel Sky, they are unbearably nerdy, and it's unfortunate because the sound and style and poise of the record is still pretty good. And so what we're left with is an outside-the-box, experimental, conceptual hip-hop album that shows off a ton of talent, but doesn't quite hit the same narrative or sonic highs as previous Clipping records. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to read my full review of Dead Channel Sky, check out my blog right here.